So this is me bottom ticking 10 a.m. on Friday, coming into that 4 hour candle. You can see how the daily has already been profiled here. We've confirmed that low of the day. Now I'm bullish on Friday simply because of the context of the weekly profile, the previous day's close. See, Monday, Tuesday expansion, Wednesday hits a key level, retraces, and then Thursday we're inside that gap and we confirm that daily reversal inside here now. NQ actually switches strength, bullish in this case. We see the large wick on Thursday, whereas we closed below on ES and we also closed below on YM. Now, this daily profile inside here is a PSP, which confirms the reversal for me from this gap inside a continuation. Of course, we only need a one stage cracking correlation. And then, of course, we've already confirmed the low of day inside here on NQ, right? So on this day, then coming into 10 a.m., I've not traded NFP, but I'm taking that into consideration, right? We have these two factors. So when we have two drivers, we have NFP at 8:30, and that's going to be an expansion profile, which means I'm looking for 9:30 retracement like that, which then in turn gives us a 10 o'clock reversal. Now I'm going to discuss a little bit about NQ strength on this day and then how I actually picked my key level using aligned standard deviation, right? An overall market context on this day. So remember those factors and apply them to what I'm about to discuss right now. So daily open, here we are. We can see we confirm low of day during this 2200 candle, which we reverse off 1800. Like I say, previous day was a PSP close, and we're not expecting this low to be run. We're already trading into a deep discount and seeing displacement away from that level. 2200 reversal, 2 a.m. London expansion profile qualifies this as low of day right now. You see inside here, we have 1, 2, 3. That confirms our swing point for low of day below 1800. Now, 6 a.m. open, right here opens up within something relevant itself. So if we look, we already confirmed low of day, like I've said. CSD swing point C2 closure 8:30 inside this on the 30-minute opens up within again something relevant. We see this M30 CSD right here, and that trades into this as a key level, which I had as a target, right? So it was H4 gap inside here. So what I'm saying about driver is when we have two drivers on the daily profile, we can look for different phases of price within that. Now, expansion towards the higher time frame internal key level, that means 9:30 retracement and 10 a.m. reversal. How do we know where will 10 a.m. reverse from? Well, if we look inside here, see expansion, retracement, and now we can look for key levels below to see a continuation from, right? Ideally, based on this H4 close, we're going to see a run on the previous hourly or the previous H4 candle, right? This will be the most deep discount inside of here. So if we actually run to the close on the H4 right here, look at this gap we're engineering. So we've gone from one swing back to another swing on the lower time frame, which is this engineered gap, and I'm looking for this SMT to form at 10 a.m., which means we're going to trade into a deep discount, like I say, below the previous candles open, and that then gives us the reversal profile we demand at 10 a.m. open, right? So it's going to be a classic PO3 towards something internal back inside this dealing range, of which we've seen 8:30 expansion and 9:30 retracement, right? So within that then, we also have this engineered swing. And on the lower time frame, I'm looking at this piece of structure inside here, which is this M5 rejection block and the CE of this specifically, right? So we have engineered liquidity above, we have these equal lows here, and I'm looking for that 10 a.m. reversal, which aligns perfectly with the new H4PO3 based on these two, kind of like the two-stage driver on this Friday, right? So coming into 10 a.m. then, how do I actually refine my key levels? and use this 5-minute rejection block, specifically the CE, as the actual key level on this day, right? So 10 a.m. open right here. I'm looking for that open low high close first, and I can use that with my 2 aligned standard deviation levels, right? So number 1, high to low like this. See how max expansion of -4 aligns really nicely with that 5-minute CE, 5-minute rejection block CE, and we also have this level here, right there. You see how that wick perfectly also aligns with -2.5, so we have max expansion for 2 deviation levels aligned perfectly with our 5-minute rejection block CE right below engineered liquidity, right? So it's not only key levels on the lower time frame which are aligned, but it's also market narrative, right? So like I say, on the H1, 830 NFP expansion, that means when we hit a key level, we're going to see retracement and a new phase of price. And then from there, when the 6 a.m. candle is closing really near to its opening price, we can then expect some sort of reversal in a deep discount below the previous candle's open, right? And from there, we see that SMT form inside that key level, ideally. And then we get that 10 a.m. reversal profile, as mentioned, right? Once again, looking specifically at this H4 gap inside here, which also aligns perfectly with our high time frame and lower time frame key levels, right? So, like I say, 10 a.m. is opening up low in the most ideal profile because that would then confirm the protraction phase of the new 4-hour candle for an open low high close like this. Again, I'm looking at these failure swings above here as my draw on liquidity, but we will get to the target a bit more specifically as I'm only taking a really, small stop, so a 10-point stop. That means I only need something really short internal also to meet consistency rule with Apex on Tradeovate, right? So let's see how 10 a.m. is opening up and how we trade into this key level right here, which I have my limit order at. So there we get tapped in perfectly at the CE of that 5-minute rejection block right here. So my entry was 570.75 right there. And like I say, I had a 10-point stop. So my stop loss would be 560.75. So 570.75 and 560.75. There we hit my limit perfectly. Hold this through a little bit of drawdown. Now, even with this displacement, I'm not going to break even at this point because I still know that this is going to be a protected low after we're trading into a deep discount and tapping into this piece of structure, which is also a protected low from this M5 rejection block. So what I'm doing inside here is simply targeting back above 10 a.m. So it's this swing point right here for 14 RR, and it was 143 points TP, right? So tapping, no moving stops to break even is either SL or TP. And yeah, based on, like I say, with this 10 a.m. open low, high, close, when we open low first like this and have engineered swings above here, here, and here, I know that those are 2 good targets. And I'm searching for the one above, right, just for a bit higher risk to reward. So hold, we tap CE once again, and look at that displacement we get right there, and I hit TP within a matter of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. So there is my bullish reversal profile at 10 a.m. Thinking about the PO3 of that new 4-hour candle after trading, into a deep discount below previous 6 a.m. and into that 4-hour gap right here. We also have 2 1-minute standard deviation levels aligned perfectly with max expansion inside this 5-minute rejection block, and specifically the CE of that rejection block, right? Again, we have engineered liquidity, which means this is a valid piece of structure to see as a protected low, and yeah, trade into that limit with a 10-point stop out here and TP at 143 points for a 14.3 RR trade. Okay guys, so there you've just seen how I bottom ticked 10 a.m. on Friday for that New York reversal profile. But now we're actually going to discuss how I top ticked Wednesday high of day, right? So that was this inside here. How did I see that price would see a new phase of price on this day, on Wednesday, right here, and we would actually reverse after opening high first on the daily, right? So what most people would have done on Wednesday is they would have seen, okay, ES and YM are both at all-time highs, and they both failed to manipulate outside of their previous ranges right here, okay? As we can see, so naturally, we're just going to keep looking high, right? People only want to long past all-time highs, really because they just disqualify pyramid discount in this case, and they're only looking for longs on side with bullish order flow, right? I know when NQ is the lagging asset in the triad on this day, we're going to see a new phase of price when NQ hits a new higher time frame key level, right? So we have relative equals in the form of previous day high and this engineered daily swing above. And from there, I can anticipate a new phase of price after we hit this, right? Especially when we can see on the H4 very clearly, we open the day high first with a flat open. Now, this is important, right? Because we have engineered key levels below, and we also have a flat open on the daily. Now, a wickless daily candle, it means that is going to be a magnet for price to trade back into, right? It's basic protraction profile. So on this day, we need to open high first, trade into that relevant key level, confirm high of day away from here using narrative and align key levels, and then we're going to look for lower towards the daily open down here, and also this H7 gap as well. So I know at some point this needs rebalancing, and I'm trading a profile which supports external to internal range framework on this day, right? So let's see then. H4, flat open, and we immediately trade higher. This is ideal for a bearish expansion profile on the daily. Regardless of the large wick, I know the timing of this. We can still see a New York reversal, right? So during AM session as well, we can still support expansion beyond the opening price, although I am only targeting the daily open in this case. So we will reverse back to here. So H4, what do we see coming into 10 a.m. because I took my entry at 10 a.m. Open high first. We've traded into relevant key level from here, and this is where I'm looking to confirm high of day, right? So within this, similar to my previous example, we have to target something relevant, and in this case, I'm looking at these accumulation lows as well as the daily wick, which I've already explained, right? So narrative also in this case, we can see a difference in how NQ, ES, and YM are all trading. NQ has obviously failed to manipulate this relevant daily high here now, and we're actually closing back inside the range. So this again would support a potential reversal profile, knowing that when we have this 9:30 open, and again we have another wickless candle pre-driver, this can also be our target, right? And it also feeds into the narrative of a lower time frame open high low close. So think about on the daily, we have no wick, we've opened high first, and we're going to target something below here. Similar with this driver, right? We have no wick, we've traded higher, again into something relevant. Both of these key levels are where I'm looking to see high of day form. And again, we can target this as something relevant down here. So it's basic higher time frame and lower time frame AD cycles, both aligned from the daily to even the 5-minute and 1-minute top down, right? So intermediate target there, but I'm also considering this as like an accumulation range from which I'm actually using to find my high of day in this case. So what do we have? Let's see this aligned key level from the final manipulation leg, which gave us this expansion pre-driver. So when I say final manipulation leg, I mean the final swing high to low right here, which gave us that last manipulation, right? So that is my range. Look at max expansion, aligns perfectly with that daily swing. Now, for my entry confirmation on this day, I take valid C2 closures, right? Because then I can use rejection blocks as the sort of another confluence, right? When we use them aligned with our time. So C2 closure right here, we have this 5-minute rejection block. in this case here, and we tap CE of that perfectly at 950 right there, and we start to dump lower. You see how we've seen expansion lower here in this candle and then retraced later in that 5-minute candle. More specifically on the 1 minute, how we have CE of this rejection block tapped, dump lower, and then we start to see some retracement inside here now, right? Well, with that then, what do we have here? Right ahead of 10 a.m, we have the exact same thing on the 5-minute and the 1 minute again. So like I'm saying here, this 5-minute rejection block is has been validated by a C2 closure. Let's look on the 1 minute ahead of 10 a.m. Look at this C2 closure once again. So sweep, close back inside. This is now going to be my protected high back inside this rejection block, right? So what I'm doing is taking my entry, a positional entry at 10 a.m. right here, closure, or sorry, stop loss back above the recent manipulation inside this rejection block. So in this day, it was here. That stop loss is about 20 points or so, which is okay because I'm kind of swinging this back towards daily open, right, which is down here. And look at the risk to reward on that. It's more than enough, and I don't really need to concern myself with a 10-point stop, because in this case I can also cover CE of that 5-minute wick once again, right? So I'm going to clear this up a little bit just to make it absolutely clear. We can get a better view of my entry, right? So 5-minute rejection block, CE has been tapped twice. We have another valid C2 closure, and here we have 10 a.m. open, for which I take my entry right there. So you'll see, or if you guys have seen my execution in the Discord, I actually didn't get a great fill on this, and I took it somewhere around 45. So let's call it 30.045, like that. And again, the stop was still at this protected swing, or this protected level, or this piece of structure, which again tapped the 5-minute CE, right? So there we are, 10 a.m. open, immediately displaces lower because this is C3 continuation on the 1 minute based on the back of this C2 closure. And again, we're looking down back towards all these accumulation lows down here, but more specifically, the flat open of the daily wick, right? So when we look on the lower time frame like this, we can see how I've confirmed high of day away from this relevant piece of structure, which was the daily week swing, right? I probably shouldn't have done that on the 1 minute, but there we see it right there on the M5. So we can look and see it's like a lower time frame market maker sell model, right? So again, wickless on the daily equals 1800 as a target, and with no hive day confirmed pre-driver, that means driver manipulation, and 9:30 high of day just like this. Standard deviation from our final manipulation leg to confirm that align perfectly, max expansion and the daily wick, and then from there, of course, we take in that 10 a.m. Continuation back towards the accumulation lows and the daily wick low right there. 20-point stop, just about 10-11 hour risk to reward, and there we are. Just ride that to the low. No moving stops, no trailing stops, and eventually we hit TP right there. So even before Q4 12 o'clock opens up, we already hit TP, and that was basically how I framed this new phase of price and the idea of a daily reversal profile slash new phase of price on NQ. Again, shorting the weakest asset in the triad when we hit, and only when we hit a relevant key level. And to finish off this video, guys, I just want to show you the two examples, or the trade examples I've just given there, and basically summarize them with these two diagrams, right? So everything I do includes 4-hour profiling, whether it's 6 a.m. continuation and using that within driver, right? So driver pairing for expansion profiles at 9:30, or whether it be a 10 a.m. reversal for the new 4-hour open low high close or open high low close, and then using those aligned standard deviation levels lower time frame reversal confirmations to actually pick an entry, and then always trading away from a level with a protected stop, right? Targets based on internal or external draws, depending on how big my stop loss is, relative to risk reward. Always trading away from something protected and always trading towards something relevant. Hope you guys enjoyed. Discord link in bio, and yes, thank you for watching.